The First Berserker, Khazan. A basic synopsis. The story of Neople's upcoming game. NEXON and Neople's upcoming hardcore action RPG The First Berserker, Khazan, referred to as Khazan, may be a new name to many, though its titular character has built a legacy for himself long before the game's initial reveal. Khazan, a key figure within the Dungeon and Fighter, referred to as DNF universe, takes the spotlight as the main playable character and sets the stage as the first berserker in the epic tale inspired by the franchise. Khazan's adaptation from DNF comes in the form of an expanded universe, with the narrative being in line with the Dungeon and Fighter story that Khazan lives, while guiding players through new storylines and monstrous battles never seen before. Neople, the Nexon studio behind the DNF IP, views Khazan as an ideal entrance into the hardcore action RPG genre and an expansion of the DNF universe to new players around the world, particularly thanks to Khazan's gripping personal story of a fallen general's revenge and its unique hardcore action. The upcoming ARPG should feel right at home for Souls-like fans, as its combat will be all about smart stamina management. The First Berserker, Khazan releases for the PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC on March 27th. First announced as a 3D title in the Dungeon and Fighter series back in 2018, The First Berserker, Khazan is slated to finally release on March 27th. The game will follow Khazan, the Dungeon and Fighter universe's god of destruction, in a story set when the wrathful god was merely mortal. However, the game takes a diverging path from the mainline series where Khazan dies in exile from the Los Empire. In this timeline, Khazan escapes and survives, setting up a new path for the character. The First Berserker, Khazan to throw them back 800 years before the events of DNF, back when Khazan was a general in the Los Empire. At this time, he was friends with the great mage Ozma, another character who will be familiar to followers of the franchise, and would team up with them for many an adventure. Their conquests included the defeat of Berserk Dragon Hismar, a terror upon the Los Empire, which won them great respect and adoration from the Empire's people. However, they both eventually die and rise as gods. The First Berserker, Khazan puts players into the shoes of the mortal Khazan, not the god. Among DNF's many characters, Khazan's popularity and eye-catching personal tale led to the decision to develop The First Berserker, Khazan. By focusing on this particular character, Neople hopes to bring the universe of DNF to a more diverse audience through one of its most gripping stories. In addition to this, Neople intends to connect Khazan's immersive storyline and powerful narrative in a way that encourages players to connect themselves with the Berserker General and keep them engaged in the larger narrative surrounding him and the universe. While Khazan is based out of the DNF universe, it will introduce new storylines and episodes that have not yet been explored in the source material. In this telling, the story begins from the point of his escape thanks to an avalanche that struck during his deportation. From this point, the player will experience fierce battles and take revenge by becoming Khazan, who has been reborn as a berserker using the power of the ghost Blade Phantom. Alongside Khazan's narrative, Neople plans to amplify its gameplay with high-quality, hardcore action. Using heavy yet dynamic movements, players will feel the action that lives up to the power fantasy of becoming a berserker and complements the original game by adding DNF's unique 3D cel-animated graphics and dynamic combat system. In addition, it offers the satisfaction of overcoming a challenging boss fight through multiple complex, action-packed battles. In the words of Myon Jin-yoon, producer and CEO of Neople, Khazan is a character with a straightforward and in-depth narrative, and we are building a robust and immersive storyline, and added, "We hope you look forward to the epic story that the First Berserker will introduce."